Hey, my name is Rick Sebak, and over the past couple of years, I've been working with many friends here at WQED on this series of programs we call It's Pittsburgh and a lot of other stuff. We've interviewed a lot of people about a lot of subjects, and at the end of many of those interviews, I've asked people, why do you think you live here in Pittsburgh?
Why do I live in Pittsburgh?
Why do I live in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
I love Pittsburgh.
Why do I live in Pittsburgh? I mean, just look at it, man. It's the scenery, you know, you got the changing of the seasons.
Why do I live in Pittsburgh? Is there any other place to live?
I live in Pittsburgh because I like Pittsburgh.
I love it here. You can't force me out of here now.
So we've decided to edit together a lot of the responses. It would take too long to introduce all these people, but they've all been seen in earlier episodes of It's Pittsburgh, from our Christmas special to North Park versus South Park. Some of these people were involved in the martini glass design competition, some in the North Side sandwich competition, and many were featured in our special called 25 Things I Like About Pittsburgh. We're also going to talk with Tess Almendarez LaGiacono and her family. She won an internet-based contest called Experience Dreamers that awarded prize money to get her to move to Pittsburgh and help realize some of her entrepreneurial dreams.
And hopefully, we'll start in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh will be the hub, and then I hope to expand into other cities as well.
Well, this program first airs on March 28th, 2013. But we think a lot of these comments about Pittsburgh are timeless. And we hope that people will be watching this online and on repeat broadcasts for as long as people have reasons to live here.
I think it's just maybe coming around, people finally appreciating what's been here. I mean, it's really a gem of a city architecturally, just everything. I mean, I think it's a really wonderful place to be.
It's Pittsburgh and a lot of other stuff is made possible by the Buell Foundation, serving southwestern Pennsylvania since 1927, and by PNC, celebrating Pittsburgh's past, present, and future at the PNC Legacy Project exhibit in downtown Pittsburgh.
The thing I love about Pittsburgh is you can make a difference here. It's a big enough town to have a lot of diversity, but a small enough town that you can make a difference.
You know, we have a lot in our city that's pretty compact. I mean, as cities go, we're fairly small, but we have everything.
This city is the most accessible, human, yet vital city I've experienced anywhere in the United States.
I love living here right now, and I feel sorry for people who live here 50 years from now, because I think it'll be a lot more crowded and a lot more expensive.
Love Pittsburgh. I've been here since I've been young, and I've been here since I've been young.
I lived next door to my grandmother growing up with my mother. So I'm a Pittsburgher.
I've always loved Pittsburgh. I grew up in Braddock, the son of a steelworker.
I grew up in West Virginia, and for me growing up, Pittsburgh was the big city.
I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so this has a very big city feel to it, but it still has a very small city kind of charm.
When I go back to visit, they think that I live in New York, basically.
We like it here. It's not the place I would pick to vacation, but it's a nice place to live.
I mean, the view coming out of the tunnels, unmatched.
Everybody knows that entrance, when you come in through that tunnel, and for me, coming through that entrance is going home.
And I think when people come here, they realize, especially bringing them through the Fort Pitt tunnels at night, like, oh my God, can we do that again?
I like the fact that any area you drive from, when you're coming into the city, it's a beautiful view. You're just, and it all blends.
I love so many things. I think what I love most is the views, and when you're driving, like, I never get bored driving around here. Visually, it's just always just stunning.
I think visitors to Pittsburgh absolutely are just stunned by Pittsburgh and how incredibly photogenic it is.
I think people do love it. People do stay here, and I think the geography in a lot of ways contributes to it.
Well, I like being able to walk just a few blocks down the street to the river and being able to kayak and bike and enjoy all of Pittsburgh's great trails, but in an urban setting.
There was a woman involved that drew me out here, and I put down roots, and now I'm here.
It's so welcoming. The people, everybody is very friendly. It's just like you do your thing, and it's just nice. It's nice.
Pittsburghers seem to be a warm,
community of people.
The feeling that Pittsburgh is not like any place else.
Pittsburgh is probably the greatest city in the world because all these little things still survive.
It's the best. We got everything.
You know, people really enjoy calling things their own when it's from Pittsburgh, you know?
The only thing this city doesn't have is my family. You know, I come from a large family and they're all still in Cincinnati.
My family's from here. My great-great-grandparents are buried up in Troy Hill Cemetery, so I just feel connected to the roots and the history of the layers of time here. And that's something that's, I think a lot of people feel that way about Pittsburgh.
As an artist, I love Pittsburgh just because it's not only very artist-friendly, I feel so much support in the city, and I've been able to make my living as an artist for 12 years full-time, just creating art. So that's one of the main things I love about Pittsburgh.
I mean, I was in the Army. I traveled to California and Texas, and there's no place like Pittsburgh. Nowhere.
And also just people in general are so friendly here, and I really love it here, and I just feel very much supported.
I moved from Alaska. I wanted to move to New York to do acting. And my mom was living back here. She was born and raised in Beaver. And I told her I was gonna move to New York, and she's like, why don't you move here first and see what you think? And I've been here for 6 years now, and I love it.
It's a great place to raise a family. My mother got locked out of her house yesterday, and I walked up the hill to climb in the window to let her back in. And if I was in California, I wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah.
Well, I like the hospital systems. As weird as that sounds, my dad was born with a heart defect, and anywhere he moved to, they told him that he had to keep his cardiologist in Pittsburgh because they're always the best.
I think, the topography in Pittsburgh, the way things are, like you could be in a city 1 minute, you drive 5 minutes down the road and you're in a county park that's absolutely beautiful and so well taken care of. I mean, I love to go walk in the parks.
I like hills too, I think that the hills give it a little more character, the hills and the rivers.
And Pittsburgh is, and I think it's because of the rivers and then the hills, neighborhoods became very tight.
I'm a Bloomfield guy. I've been here all my life. I only lived in 2 houses in my life, and I don't plan on going anywhere.
We lived in the city, and I love Observatory Hill and the North Side. I lived in Oakland for 10 years. I love the mom and pop stores like Morante's in Oakland.
Well, I like the different neighborhoods because if you go to Florida, they don't have the different ethnic neighborhoods, but Chicago does and places like that. So that's what I like, the neighborhoods. It's friendly.
There's a nice family kind of vibe here. And of course we have the Steelers.
I just love Pittsburgh. I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. I love the Pirates. I love everything about Pittsburgh.
We all got that common thing with the sports team. Everybody gets behind them. Sometimes we talk bad about them, but hey, we still stick with them.
Steelers. I've been a Steelers fan since I lived in LA. So
the Penguins. Sidney Crosby.
I enjoy the Steeler Nation, Steeler football, which I didn't know anything about coming from Jamaica.
Steelers Sundays in the Strip District. Check it out. That's where it's at.
I always like the specific, positive, focused energy of, if it's about the Pirates, now, man, the Pirates are big now. I wasn't expecting that, even last year. And I even walk by bars in New York that advertise the Pirates games because they know the Pittsburgh fans are nuts.
I like to go to baseball games, hockey games, football games. So, I can't complain. Pittsburgh's a nice city, and I like to live here. I love it here.
I think that what I like about Pittsburgh is the architecture of Pittsburgh. I can walk through downtown and look up. I never look down because I want to see, this building, that building, look for everything, all of the details.
I've had chances, and I've lived other places. I stayed in Philadelphia for a while. I actually taught school there for some time. But I always seem to come back to Pittsburgh.
You can go to Florida and deal with the hot weather. You come up here, you get it all. The spring, the fall. Fall's amazing.
The winters are just long enough that, you get into the spring and then you get all 4 seasons just about the right time.
The winter, it's not one of my biggest, but I like it.
You go down south, they see a flurry and no one's on the road, We grew up driving in ice and snow. It's not that bad.
It's nice to visit Florida. It's nice to go other places, but this is a lot to offer right here in Pittsburgh.
And it's constantly changing.
Yeah. You have the technology.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to going to CMU.
I came to school here, University of Pittsburgh. I just stayed. I loved it.
And plus, we have all these universities, which is a big draw for the younger crowd, and they're really good universities.
I have a friend that just moved here from Denver, and she just loves Pittsburgh now. She's going to nursing school at Duquesne.
We have some of the best universities. The people of Pittsburgh are tremendous and amazing.
And everyone is always so friendly. I don't know how many times I've sat down on a bus or stood on a corner and started talking to people.
Friends of mine that come from New York, they're like, Pittsburgh. They're like, you could see somebody on the corner of the street and they'll just strike up a conversation with you, and they say they love that because that won't happen as much there.
We talk about where we're going, what we're doing, what the day has been like.
If you ask somebody in Pittsburgh for directions, they'll either tell you the exact directions or they'll say, well, come on, follow me and I'll take you there.
Since I've been here, this is one of the most friendliest cities and the better neighborhood type cities that I've visited and have been to.
So most folks around here aren't surprised when the Pittsburgh area gets recognized and wins awards for its quality of life.
We're the most livable city in the country. The Economist in London, as well as Forbes and a number of other publications have picked it the most livable city in America.
But there are still groups like this gathering of foundations, civic and business partners, and local universities that are looking for ways to attract more people to the Pittsburgh area. Fred Tiemann is president of the Buell Foundation.
We love our city, and we're not content just to sit back and be there. We always want to be better.
So, based on some careful research, this group came up with an unusual way to try to attract a specific demographic, entrepreneurs over 45, and convince them to move to Pittsburgh. This group launched a contest. Aradhana Oliphant is CEO of Leadership Pittsburgh.
The contest was, you got $100,000, you will get $100,000 if you win via an essay submission if your dream wins. Come and dream with us, come actualize your dream with us in Pittsburgh.
Robbie Baker Kosak, Vice President of University Advancement at Carnegie Mellon University, was part of this group that created the Experienced Dreamers contest.
This contest was all about finding a unique way to reach out to people who have experience and yet still have dreams, and actually want to make sure that they fulfill those dreams in a place where they feel like they count.
And we had media coverage from Japan to the West Coast, from CNN to Great Britain and BBC. So the exposure that Pittsburgh received from this contest at a relatively low expenditure, you couldn't have touched it if you were trying to do commercials, put ads in magazines, do billboards.
We did not, as a community, want to spend $25 million on full-page ads in New York Times to say, hey, we are so great, nation and world, look at us, we are so great, come to Pittsburgh. We did not want to do that. So we wanted to make sure that we have an experiment, but that the investment of community dollars is not in the tune of many millions.
On Monday, August 6, 2012, Mayor Luke Ravenstahl and a group of interested Pittsburghers gathered to welcome the winner of the contest, Tess Almendarez Lajacano and her family, to the city. Part of the ceremony was presenting Tess with the key to the city.
Why don't we, how about over here so we get the city, does that work?
Tess grew up in the North Hills, but she moved to the Buffalo, New York area 20 years ago. She runs her own fine art education business and was the sort of experienced dreamer that the contest organizers were hoping to find. And this West End Overlook party was just the beginning of a big day of Pittsburgh extending a welcome. Winning this contest means that Tess, her husband Frank, and their daughters Pilar and Francesca have all agreed to move here. They know a bit about the city, but there are plenty of new experiences, like taking a ride on the Duquesne Incline and getting used to the Pittsburgh terrain.
There's a lot more hills because Buffalo's very flat. And we have to move to the city. That's part of the contest requirements. And right now where we live is a little town called East Aurora, and it's really, really like small and sort of country, like it's nice. but now we get to change to the city, so it's like, whoa.
Except at the houses that we looked at, it didn't seem like all buildings and skyscrapers and people on the street.
It's like
stuff.
neighborhoods.
Yeah.
City-like neighborhoods.
After the old down and up on the incline, the family was invited to tour the Quality of Life Center at Carnegie Mellon, where Tess graduated with a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in the 1980s. The family got to see some experimental robots that are being designed and programmed to work with older people in everyday tasks.
How about a big round of applause for Tess?
Later at PNC Park, Tess got to throw out the first pitch at the ball game. Even the Pirates were hot.
Thank you, Tess.
When Fred Tiemann called me and said to me, I have something great to tell you, are you sitting down? And I said, okay, I'm sitting down. He said, you get to throw out the first pitch at a Pirate game. I always said, what? I just burst out laughing. He said, I'm so glad that was your reaction. I think he was afraid I wouldn't want to do it or something, but I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? I thought it was great.
Tess calls her business Fine Art Miracles, which she started in Western New York. She offers and teaches classes in fine art history and techniques for people in senior centers, nursing homes, and she dreams of expanding in the Pittsburgh area and beyond.
It was absolutely a dream of mine. That's why, I mean, it was a perfect fit for this contest, you know, experienced dreamer. That's me. It's the most gratifying thing I've ever done. It's, you know, I really do it in order to draw attention to the elderly and to reach out and help those people and to bring the ability to express themselves out, use their creative energy. But I have to say that even though that's my goal, the reward to me is just, it's unfathomable. I can't even express how much I get out of doing this work, how great my days are working with the elderly and seeing what they can do and getting their kind of attention back from me. I mean, they're the nicest people in the world. You know, you can be having the worst day of your life and you walk into a nursing home and everybody says, you're here, yay! And, you know, how great is that? So I love it.
The Experienced Dreamers contest was a gimmick, for lack of a better term, but a way to get, you know, catch people's attention to take a harder look. So it was a gamble, but it paid off.
And it meant the LaJacanos could join the ranks of people around here who pay attention to what they like about this city.
One thing my mom said was that the pizza's not as good as Buffalo. That's what she said. I don't know.
My cousin who lives in Verona drives to Campides in Dortmund to get pizza.
From pierogies to spaghetti to pizza, you know, served pizza up in the North Hills. No matter where you go, you find something different.
It's not just a city, it's all these little wonderful clusters of good people with all these great places and things to do and places to eat, and it's really a sense of community in all these little neighborhoods.
Each neighborhood has its own unique little aspects, and you know, every neighborhood I experience, I find it equally as open and welcoming as the other, and even interesting.
I live in Dortmund. My mom lives in Dortmund now. My sister lives in Dortmund. Just a nice, it's a Pittsburgh thing to live close to your family.
Pittsburgh operates in small neighborhoods as a whole.
I love that Pittsburgh is a wonderful combination of, you know, you have the universities and the museums and all that like intellectual stimulation, but then you have a great buzz downtown, you know, around the bars and the restaurants. I think it's fantastic. I love it.
Restaurants. It's amazing. Some of the best restaurants in the country, I think. I mean, they're popping up all over the place.
No matter which restaurant or which neighborhood you go to, you find a restaurant that has the character of that neighborhood.
I love the geography of Pittsburgh. I have a house on the north side that sort of sits high up, and you get this panoramic view.
I have a house with $1 million view, and I'm not sure where I'd find a house anywhere at Pittsburgh that I could afford with $1 million view.
The thing I really love about Pittsburgh is the cheap rent, especially having moved back from New York City.
I like the fact that I moved into a neighborhood that nobody wanted to live into 25 years ago, and now I border Frick Park, which is the largest park in the entire city of Pittsburgh.
But that's a really good thing, because that's what's driving young artists to move into the city, because it's so affordable to live here.
And I get to raise my 9-year-old daughter in a beautiful environment clean skies, clean water, and everything that people don't think Pittsburgh is.
But I really like the way the city feels. I like how friendly it is. I like how beautiful and clean it is. I love the houses I've been looking at, and just the old Victorians, and the old city houses are just beautiful.
But moving is a big job, and the LaJacanos have decided to start their lives in Pittsburgh in an apartment in Squirrel Hill on the top 2 floors of this house.
It's just a great location, and our neighbors are very, very lovely, and people have been very friendly to us already, and we're so happy to be here. Even my husband, who I think I told you initially was kicking and screaming, wakes up every day and he says to me, "I'm so glad we live here."
Pittsburgh's a metropolis, really, it is, and we are coming at a time when Pittsburgh is going through this renaissance, and that they're preparing for the future, and it's really exciting to be part of it.
And so I'm thrilled at that, because of course I get up every day and I say, "Yay!"
I may decide to, begin a new adventure in Pittsburgh, and I think that would be an opportunity. It's one of the opportunities that brought us here.
We moved here and started school, and it's good. It's fun. The people are nice, and the work is more challenging, but that's good.
Yes, and yeah, basically what she said. And it is hard. It's different from our old school, but it's good too. It's like we're moving up in things.
Just as of today, we have 52 nursing home clients in the Pittsburgh area now. I went from, when I moved here, I had, I think, 11, because I had been coming in the summertime to work in some nursing homes. So I had 11, and now 2 months later I have 52. Entering the contest really allowed me to make my dream come true in Pittsburgh, the place where I wanted to make it come true. It was the perfect fit for me.
I meet people almost every week, people that move here. And I think people are realizing they can live a kind of a freer life here because real estate is still cheap, even though it's gone up a lot, but it's still pretty cheap.
You can afford to buy a nice home here, and not only afford to go out and enjoy having dinner and taking in a show, but you can get tickets to that show relatively easy, and you can get a place to park in front of the restaurant that you can, that's only a stone's throw away from where the concert is, and you might not even have to have reservations to have dinner.
The art's downtown, you can go to shows, you can go to ball games. I mean, what is there that you can't do here that you can do at any other city? We have it all.
It's great because you have everything. I mean, you've got the Pittsburgh Symphony, and you've got the chance to go to the ballet, and you have so many things to do here.
I lived in the New York area for 4 years, and to be able to get into a club to go see the band you want to see, or to go see an art exhibit, or those things, or even to see a movie is a hassle. And in Pittsburgh, you can do darn near anything, but I can still drive 15 minutes from my house and take my kids to Trax Farms and go on a hayride and go through a corn maze.
I just enjoy the city, always have, always will. Moved away for 9 years, but came back.
Pittsburgh is one of the best places to bicycle in the nation. And we've gotten that reputation. And with organizations like Bike Pittsburgh, and the city has a bicycle czar now.
You have a bike in Pittsburgh, you can get anywhere. You can get Southside, Bloomfield, downtown, the Strip. So we don't need to drive our cars. We ride our bikes everywhere we go, and it's just really convenient. Good people.
I think in the summer, it'll be different for me to ride my bike, because since there's so much different elevation, I probably will not be very good at it.
I've been here over 25 years, and I'm still finding out new things about the city. I just think it's fascinating if you're any type of a historian, just to many stories and so much history.
I can't speak as a history buff of Pittsburgh other than Steel Town angle, but I think from a blue-collar workforce, it's evolving and it's getting more culture, and young people like that, and that's something that they're going to stick around for.
And the bars. There's some good bars, really good bars in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Pittsburgh has a great beer scene. There's so much good breweries in Pittsburgh, really good breweries, top-notch, world-class breweries. And I feel like I can go to any one of them and just beer time.
I love Pittsburgh because it's so green. and so friendly for people to go outside and enjoy the outdoors, the rivers and the mountains, so I can bike and I can walk and I can run, and people are friendly.
I love the area in Highland Park where you can walk around the reservoir. I love to walk.
We have our river trails. That's something I love about Pittsburgh. Oh God, the South Side Trail, the North Shore Trail, they're absolutely beautiful. I feel like we're so lucky to have a place where you can run and it's scenic and it's right along the water and it's just beautiful.
My absolute hands down favorite place in Pittsburgh are the parks. The green spaces we have here are just treasures. They're safe, they're fun, they're everywhere.
And I started rowing, and so now the rivers mean a lot, because we started rowing on the Allegheny River. Now I row on the Ohio. And you get that, sometimes I'm in the middle of the Ohio, like on a Saturday morning, and looking at the Swickley Bridge, and I'm thinking, this is just beautiful.
So you don't feel like you ever have to get out of the city, because the city is green for the most part.
Even when you're in downtown Pittsburgh, you look at the hillsides along the rivers, it's green. It's what really sets us apart. I wonder why, more people don't live here.
I love a lot of things about Pittsburgh. I never thought I'd live so long in Pittsburgh. I'm from here, but I never thought I'd live in Pittsburgh. And I think now, I think Pittsburgh is finally becoming the city I always wanted to live in.
But it's always nice to read in the New York Times or any of the New York magazines when they talk about Lawrenceville, they talk about the north side where I live and love. And I think that's very exciting, but not surprising.
Just a fun place to live. And my mother said when my dad moved us to Pittsburgh that she thought Pittsburgh was the last place she wanted to live. It turned out it was, and she didn't regret it.
The people, the buildings, the topography, everything about it, yeah.
The pride, for some reason, sort of the inexplicable pride of all that stuff, is just really fun. It's very positive. There's nobody really complains about the city.
You get other cities, people are miserable. You talk to the clerks, you talk to the people in the restaurants. You come here, everybody's friendly, It is, it's a great place to live.
I would never leave Pittsburgh.
So I love it here, and I'm glad to call it my home now.
Of all the places I have lived in the world, nothing has felt more like home.
Been visiting other places, but this is home.
The thing is, all of this whole season, everybody that I've talked to for all the subjects that I've done, I said, why do you live here? Why do you guys live here?
Because we have to. That's basically it.
No,
but it's nice too when I like living here. Yeah. Just say we like Pittsburgh, and the hilly stuff's interesting, and the waterfront mall, and it's a good place, and it has variety, and it's interesting.
We want to go to Cold Stone.
We want to go to Cold Stone.
We started watching Downton Abbey here.
Downton Abbey's really good.
And Franny, wait, 1. At 10, 3, do thumbs up to the camera. 1, and then end it. 1, 2, 3.
It's Pittsburgh and a lot of other stuff is made possible by the Buell Foundation, serving southwestern Pennsylvania since 1927, and by PNC, celebrating Pittsburgh's past, present, and future at the PNC Legacy Project exhibit in downtown Pittsburgh.
WQED thanks these members whose membership helps to make our programming possible.
Every year, the Salvation Army serves nearly 30 million people in need. That's one person every second. So by the time you've finished watching this, 30 more lives will have been changed for good. All thanks to your donations.
Thank you.
All news, all the time. KQV AM 1410. Here when you need to know what's happening now.
Pittsburgh